the Chelly Roy Show. It's the Chelly Roy Show. It's the Chelly Roy Show, and it's going down. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelly Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelly Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelly Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelly Roy, it's your turn.
Hey. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to the Chelly Roy Show. I am your host, Chelly Roy, and we have an amazing show for you guys tonight. Tonight is our first ever love, relationship, and marriage segment. Tonight, we want you guys to leave here with the knowledge and the tools needed so that you guys can become better partners. So you guys definitely stay tuned. Before we get into the show, I always like to start off with thanking our sponsors. The Chelly Roy Show is sponsored by Built on Survival Skills Apparel. We're also sponsored by Liquid Lipo, where you can lose up to a pound a day. I also would like to thank my makeup artist, Amber Singletary, my photographer, Stephen Tucker, my executive producer, Dalmas Luther. So you guys don't go anywhere. You guys stay tuned because up next, I have the author of Marriage in Between the Sheets. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to the Chelly Roy Show. I am your host, Chelly Roy, and my next guest is a husband, a father, a pastor, and the author of Marriage in Between the Sheets. You guys help me welcome Mr. Max, Melvin, and First Lady Sheila Melvin. Help me welcome them, guys. Welcome. Fast to say. Welcome.
Good to be here.
Absolutely. It is an honor to have
be
you
back.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, because the last time we had you here, it was a powerful segment, but very short.
Very short.
So it was important for me to bring you back so that we could really get into the tools and the knowledge that we need. So the goal is for us to leave better than how we came.
Yeah.
So that's what I plan to get out of the segment and to give to the audience as well as the viewers.
Yes.
And First Lady Sheila.
Yes.
It's an honor to have you.
Thank
you. You know, because it's great to have that balance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Pastor is an expert at saving marriages and healing marriages, but there's also a balance. So I wanted you here so that we can provide that balance and then also get it from a woman's perspective. Because you and I know that behind every man, there's a powerful, strong woman.
Yes.
No doubt.
So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's get into it, Pastor.
Yes.
So I want to start from the beginning. Um, do you think it's necessary for people who are aspiring to be married to partake in marital counseling, and why?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's important because if you're going to get married, that's a journey.
Yes.
That's a marathon.
Yes.
And if you're going to run
It
that
is.
marathon, you got to get in shape in order to run it.
Oh,
Yeah, you got to get in good shape to run it. And just like a marathon, there's going to be times in the point of the marathon, you're going to feel like quitting.
yeah.
And you got to have something inside of you to say, keep going and
Yes.
finish that 26.3 miles. And that's marriage, and to and death do we part. So yes, marital counseling, premarital counseling is an absolute. I would tell anybody, don't do this
Without
unless you make sure you get some marital counseling. You got to find out about yourself. You got to find out about the person that you're with. And that's going to take some time, sitting down
That's
to get to
important.
know each other. After all that lovely stuff and all that stuff fades, who are you then?
That
And
is very important.
yes,
for sure.
yes,
And to that point, it's also important that you understand who you're marrying.
absolutely.
You need to understand not necessarily their baggage, but who they are.
Absolutely.
You know, what they've been through before you guys become one, because you do take on your spouse's history and vice versa.
The
So I agree
totality
with
of that person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. You agree with that, Pastor?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So this is a different type of segment. So
Mm-hmm.
what I did, because when you were here the last time, like I said, your book was so powerful. The tools that you gave us in such short time was powerful, but it wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a poll, and people were reaching out. We have a lot of questions where anonymous viewers sending questions. So we're going to walk through those
Okay.
and walk through some of the chapters in the book to be
Okay.
able to pinpoint some of the tools and the knowledge that we're going to need to help us become better partners in our relationships,
No doubt.
in our marriages. So I first want to start with the first chapter where you mention counting the cost of a successful marriage. Talk to me a little bit about that and
Yeah.
what that means.
Very important, Shelley, that we understand marriage. There's a cost to marriage. There's a cost to everything in life.
Absolutely.
When you're born, it costs to come in. It costs while you're here. It costs when you go out of here. You got to pay somebody to bury you.
That is so true. So true.
And marriage will cost you as well. And you have to know the cost, and you got to know what you're willing to pay, because there's a price to it.
Yeah.
Not just financially, but marriage will cost you everything. It'll cost you your life. And it takes everything to make it go right. It's one of the most challenging things that you will ever sign up for.
That is
Don't let nobody tell you anything different. The number 2 thing that you will ever do in life is called marriage.
Yeah.
Number 2 decision that you ever make in life called marriage. So it would cost you everything in order to make this right and stay in love and be happy until the day that God take you out of here.
All right.
So there is a cost to it.
Makes
and the
sense.
question is, what are you willing to pay?
Yeah. What are you willing to pay?
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
And look at the smile on both of you guys' faces.
Because we still in love, Shelley.
I see
We,
it.
we are 33 years
I
come
see
next
it. All I see
Friday,
is I love that.
and we are still in love.
Congratulations, 33 years.
Yes.
Well, First Lady, we're going to get into some of those secrets. Not just in the book, but some of the secrets as
Yeah.
to what you did to actually make it to 33 years. That's truly a milestone.
Yes,
It's truly
it
a
is.
milestone.
Yes.
So the other chapter that kind of struck me was, it was very powerful just reading the chapter, surviving the marital vows.
Yes,
What does
yes,
that mean? Or what do you
Surviving
mean
the
when you
marital
write
vows.
about that in the book?
yeah. When we get married, Shelley, we sign up. We make covenants. And that covenant is for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health.
Yes,
And that's asking a lot from a human being.
it really is.
It is. Over a lifetime, that's asking a lot, that you're going to, whatever go wrong, I'm still going to stay. If I lose my job, I'm still going to stay. If I lose my health, I'm still going to stay.
Yeah.
And we've got to understand, we made that covenant before God and before all the people that showed up at your wedding. So, and you have to survive sometimes those vows, because if you live long enough and stay married for 33 years, you will deal with all three. I can
Absolutely.
guarantee you it will come into play. But if you know what you signed up for,
Yeah.
and you know the covenant that you made, then you can survive those marital vows no matter what comes. After it's all said and done, you can still be standing.
Still be standing.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
love that. I absolutely love that. So I want to get into one question before we go to break with one of the audience or the viewer.
Yes.
One of the questions that we got was what are the most common reasons marriages end in divorce and how can we avoid this?
That's a very good question because 55% of all marriages end in divorce. So I always tell people, I say, if you're going to catch a plane and they tell you 55% of them going to drop out the sky, when you want to know why those 55%
Absolutely.
are dropping out of the sky.
Yes.
Yes. So the number one reason, Chelly, that people get a divorce is because of lack of knowledge. They don't know exactly what they're doing. They think they do.
Yeah.
They look at other marriages and they look at marriages and they think they see what's going on in that marriage, but they really don't see. But having the information, knowing what you're doing in every area of your life, and communicating and finances, you need to know the knowledge of how do I do this.
Yeah.
And most of the time we don't get the knowledge of how to do that, and it
That's
comes into
key.
play in the marriage because what you don't know can kill your marriage.
Absolutely, and you're working in the blind spot.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break and
All
we'll
right.
come back and tap on that again.
All right.
We'll be back.
It's the Chelly Roy Show. It's the Chelly Roy Show. It's the Chelly Roy Show, and it's going down. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelly Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelly Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelly Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelly Roy, it's your turn.
Welcome back, guys, to the Chelly Roy Show. I am back again with Pastor Max Melvin, author of Marriage in Between the Sheets. So, Pastor, we left off with you basically talking about the cost of marriage and what it takes. Those were very good points. My other question that one of the viewers sent in was, do you believe some couples get married for financial support and why?
Financial support. Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, that hit a nerve,
Absolutely.
First Lady?
Well, it was a joke at my previous job, and a young lady said,
But that's real, though.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I said, wow.
yeah, that's real.
Yeah. A lot of people get married for financial support, but that won't keep a marriage.
It sure won't.
It won't. If you ain't got a lot of other things going along with that, then I don't care how much money they got and how much stuff they give you up front, that ain't gonna keep you happy. That's why Kanye and
Exactly.
Kardashians,
Yeah. Back to the knowledge and the information.
exactly, they would stay married forever. So yeah, a lot of people do that, especially women. Women's number one need in life is security, and a lot of
Yeah.
women get married for security. But I want to say to the women out here, don't make that mistake, because you will not be happy if that's all you're getting married for. You need more than just
You need
security.
more than that.
Or
You
somebody
guys hear
just
that, ladies?
bringing
Don't
you
get
some
married
coins.
for financial security reasons. You have to get married and really dig into the tools and the information so that you guys can give it what it takes to survive the marriage. So that's key.
Yes.
Absolutely,
That's
because
good.
right after security, she needs love and affection.
Absolutely.
So if a man is just giving you money and stuff and not giving you the love and affection, after a while, there's going to just be things around you.
That's true.
You need somebody to love you for you and for who the person that God created you to be.
Absolutely.
So she needs more than security. She needs love and affection. So
Yeah.
don't just marry for security.
No, I'm laughing because that's all of those are my number one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the number 1, 2, and 3, but yeah, that's a great point.
Absolutely.
Great
Absolutely.
point. So the next question is for you, First Lady.
All right.
One of the viewers asked, after 33 years of marriage, does it get difficult to keep up the same standards and behaviors you had 20 years ago?
No, you have to grow. You have to grow with the marriage. We met each other when we were 19. I was 19, he was 20.
Okay.
Now we.
You won't say it, right?
We won't say it. But you have to grow, and as you get older and you grow together.
Absolutely.
And
that's important.
so we can't do things like we used to do at 19 and 20, 25 and 30. We in our 50s, so we grow together.
So the key is constantly growing, continue
Constantly
to
growing.
build on the tools and
Yes.
the information that will allow you to constantly grow.
Yes.
So that's the key.
Yes.
Okay. Great point. So I have another one for you.
Uh-oh.
Do you believe in the honeymoon phase? If so, how do you keep your marriage energized, spontaneous after that phase?
Yeah, you know, you
You
do.
can give us some secrets now.
Is that-
Don't be shy.
You do new things. You never keep it the spice in.
Okay.
You know.
Keep it spicy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You know, I encourage him. Yeah.
He said he liked the spice. You hear him all right.
Yeah, keep the pepper in it.
Keep the pepper in it. Yeah. And you know, learn each other. You know, be there for each other.
Yeah.
You know, and we stay together, grow together, love each other,
That's key.
and encourage you know, you have each other's back.
That's
Yeah.
key.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, although you feel like you know a person, you really don't know a person
Yes.
until you're literally living with them and
Yes.
going through, you know, the peaks and the valleys and things of that nature. So
Yes.
that's important.
Because we change.
Yeah,
Now,
and that's key that I got
Yeah.
out of that is really just being
Yes.
able to weather the storm and grow.
Weather the storm.
For sure.
Yes.
Would you like to add anything to that, Pastor?
No doubt. I always got something.
I thought he was going to say no. I was going to say, are you kidding?
No, that's
You have to roll press that question. How do you keep the honeymoon phase together?
Yes.
Like my wife said, we all forever changing, and we just have to keep changing with one another and find out where that person is at that time and give them what they need where they're at that time. What I need at 58,
Yes.
I didn't need at
Different
20
back then.
years old when I met her. So she had to become another woman for me, and I got to become another man for her. And that's all the way throughout the marriage. Don't stop growing. Don't stop becoming.
Definitely.
Always becoming till the end of time. Could I share this one thing with you?
Yes, of course.
On Valentine, I was out getting my lovely wife all these balloons and all this stuff. I love to spice it up for Valentine.
Love it.
And while I was in the store, I met a man who was 85 years old. And I'm the type of guy, if I see somebody like that, I got to interview him. I'm like, I like to interview him. And I said, sir, what are you doing out here? And I said, you didn't mind me asking, how long have you been married? He said, young man, I've been married for 65 years. I said, you mean to tell me you were still out here doing this? And he said, yes, keeping it alive. Still spicing it up 65
Still
years
supporting.
in. Yes. So at 33 years in, that motivated me to keep on doing what I'm doing, to keep the spice alive in my marriage as well.
Absolutely. Y'all see the spice?
Yeah.
They have the same smile, the teeth.
Yeah.
They look like twins. I absolutely I'm serious. They got the same style and everything. I absolutely love it. That says that you guys are truly vested. That says that you guys are definitely adhering
Yes.
to the vows that you guys gave with one another. And you guys are
Yes.
weathering the storm
Yes.
and allowing each other to grow individually
Yes.
and collectively together. So
Yes.
that's what I see.
Very
You
important.
guys make me happy. So
Yes.
that's the energy that I'm getting from you
Yeah.
guys.
And I did have role models. I had my mother. She stayed until my father, death do you part. And my sister been married going on, how many? 50?
50
50
years.
years.
That's important because
50
we don't
years.
really have role models
Yes.
nowadays, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of marriages, like we were talking about before, end in divorce. So a lot of people don't really have those role models or
Absolutely.
those examples. So
Yes.
that's really good.
And that's one of the things we're trying to do, Shelly. Become role models for people to let them know you
Yes.
can win. Marriage can work. You can keep your family together. So that's one of the things we know that's an assignment on our life that God has put on our life to be a blessing to other people and to let them know keep fighting.
I love
Keep,
that.
yeah.
I love
And we
that.
take that assignment seriously.
So divorce is not a word in our vocabulary.
Yes.
I love that.
Tell them about that, Sheila.
Yeah, we never, when we get mad at each other, because things come
Absolutely.
up.
Your tempers flare.
Yeah,
and
we
sometimes you get
settle
upset.
it. We don't sleep in different rooms.
I love
We
that.
settle it before, and then, carry on.
Matter of fact,
I love that. She said carry on.
we made a vow.
a lot of carrying.
A lot of carry.
We caught that, First lady.
Love to carry on. Matter of
We
fact, Shelly,
caught that.
a year after we got married, a lot of times people use that word divorce, loosely, and they use it for power to control, the marriage, to control the other person, to control the arguments. And we made a vow to each other that we would never bring that word up in our
love that.
relationship.
Yes.
1 year
Absolutely love
in,
that.
32 years ago, unless we absolutely meant it. And that word has not been used in our house.
I love
It
that.
can't be used in conversation, not unless we talk about somebody else.
Somebody
but
else.
not about us.
Great point.
Yeah.
I love that, you guys. So before we go to break, quick tip is to never speak the word divorce in your marriage.
Yes.
So we'll be right back after this quick break. Welcome back, guys, to the Chelly Roy Show. I am here with author of Marriage in Between the Sheets, Pastor Max Melvin, and First Lady Sheila. So we left off basically saying that the word divorce is forbidding in terms of a topic of discussion in your household, which I can truly appreciate. That's definitely a great tool and information that we could use, in our everyday marriages. So another question I have for you, First Lady, from a viewer. If you can't forgive, is it time to move on?
No, you got to learn how to forgive,
Okay.
because how many times we mess up and we want the Lord to forgive
Yes.
us right away.
Yes.
So saying that you won't forgive your husband is not an option. No.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
I received that. You guys receive that?
Yeah,
You have to be able to forgive
absolutely.
as Jesus forgave us, basically. We receive that for
It's
sure.
hard not to forgive.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I received that. Okay. The next question that we received, Pastor, is for you. How do you deal with your spouse when they're not pleasing you in the bedroom?
Oh.
He said, oh.
You don't have
Well, I knew I really don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
I'm very well,
What
pleased.
advice do you have for someone who
Well,
is
yes,
facing that challenge?
Absolutely. If they came to me and say that's an issue, I would say this is an opportunity for you and your spouse to grow. A lot of times we think that people know exactly what we want and what we need, but you have to communicate that information to your spouse, regardless of what it is, whether it's sex, whether it's
Yes.
whatever your needs are. You can assume that the person knows exactly what you want. So in
That is
order
so
for them to fulfill what you need in your life, you have to be able to communicate that to them. So if they're having a problem in the bedroom sexually, that means they need to talk. They need to communicate. Let them know what they need. If that ain't floating their boat, they let them let them know what floating their boat is.
Floating their boat,
Because you are together, and we can't go outside the marriage to get that taken care of. God wants us to get it taken care of right in that bed, and not in somebody else's bed, because that would not solve the problem.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Bunch of people might be around you, but that one, I never looked to anybody else. I always knew I had my man at home.
Amen. Amen.
So you want to piggyback on
Yeah, I want to piggyback on that. A lot of times when people throughout life have traumas, and like you say, they be hurt in life, and when we get together, we bring our hurts together. So the answer I would give to someone like you, instead of trying to heal together, heal individually. I wrote a chapter in my book that says it's not you, it's me. Meaning, if I work on myself, if I get better, the relationship gonna get better.
Absolutely.
And the reality is you cannot fix anyone but yourself, because you have to deal with the wills of individuals. So if you're willing to get help, willing to get better, that's gonna make your relationship better. And that other person has to work on themselves and be willing to work on themselves.
That makes sense. That's
So
a
that's
great question.
Excellent question.
Great
Yeah.
answer.
Yes.
Thanks.
Next question.
Yes, my name is Antonio. How can you handle a spouse that keep putting their family in our business?
Ooh, keep them out.
Did you hear that? How can you handle a spouse that keeps allowing family to come into your business?
Okay, that's a great question. Yeah, I would say, listen, the Bible says a man leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, and those two become one flesh. That means God eliminates the mother and father out of the relationship. So if the mother and father is out of the relationship, everybody else has to exit as well.
Absolutely.
Pookie, cousins, friends, everybody needs to be out of that relationship. It has no business. And if they try to come in, they are trespassers. The only time they should be invited in if the two people invite them in.
Absolutely.
Other than that, they need to mind their own business, get them some business, and stay out of the marriage couple business. We don't let anybody come into our marriage. Don't let anybody bring us any information about each other.
No.
Then you'll become the problem.
Absolutely.
Because we're going to stick together until death do us part. So don't ever let anybody, I always say, watch the dog to bring the bone. So if somebody's bringing something to you, check them out, because they might want to sabotage your marriage.
Absolutely.
Because you got something good going on.
Great point. Great answer.
Because hurt people like to hurt people.
Absolutely.
And
Misery loves
they
company.
They don't want to see you happy.
Absolutely.
You know, so-
That is so true. So true.
Keep them out.
Great question and answer. Next question.
I got a question. What do you do? I'm sorry. How do you handle a spouse that constantly lies about just about everything?
That's tough. That's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. Pastor, answer.
That's a good question. I was trying to get that person some help. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times that comes from a place. If a person is lying about something, they had learned to be that person. They learned to become that person. And a lot of times people use that as a safety net, right? So if you got a spouse, somebody you love, somebody you say you want to be with for a lifetime, that means you care for that person. And that's no different than if they had cancer. You would take them to the doctor and get them some help. So if they got a lying problem, that means you need to find out what is the core of them lying that way. That come from everything that's in life come from a place, come from a core. And if you can find out what the core of that problem is, you can solve that problem.
That's a good point. Great answer.
And I guess to follow that up, once trust is broken, trust and forgiveness kind of go together.
Absolutely.
But being married 33 years, I'm sure there may have been some times when one of you trusted the other less than you did at the beginning. How do you get past that?
You want to take that or you want me to take it?
No, because you might
I
say
can take
mine.
Yeah, trust, like I said, is very important. And when it's broken, it takes a lot of work to get that thing back together. So I tell anybody, once you have broken trust, trust has to be earned. That means you got to put a lot of work in it to get it back together, to establish it back where it was. And it's going to take a whole lot of work. Ain't no easy way to reestablish trust. It's going to take a lot of work.
A lot of work.
So try not to break trust. Yeah, but if you do, then that means you're going to have to put a lot of work in it to reestablish that trust back to that person.
And I think that's where people kind of struggle because they don't realize the work
Yes.
and the effort that's involved
Absolutely.
with rebuilding the trust. So,
Yeah.
next question.
I have a question. What do you do if you find out that your spouse is addicted to porn? And also, I don't know if you could speak to this. Might be too detailed, but it's a little, no, this is, so,
I've been doing this for 30 years, so
Oh.
nothing is off base to me.
Yeah.
Whatever
Okay.
you want to ask, I done dealt with.
okay, well, it's all right, Pastor.
Yeah.
So, how do you get that person to even understand as a woman that them, masturbating
Yeah.
Right.
is interfering with the intimacy and the
Absolutely.
energy of the covenant?
That is so true.
Right. Like I said, I've been doing this for 30 years. I haven't had this.
I'm sweating, so
You don't have to sweat. I mean, this is a major thing.
It's
that's
real
going
though.
on
It happens.
in our community. Absolutely. Yeah. Porn is real. And I done had this a couple of times, a couple of cases to deal with this. A lot of times, especially young men, or women too, get hooked on porn early, right? When we don't understand what it really is and what it can really do to us. And when people get addicted to it, it's just like any other thing, a drug, alcohol, whatever it might be. And once you get addicted to it, now it's going to take some work to get out of that situation. And a lot of times that's what happens. A lot of times people get into things, they don't know how far that thing's going to take them and how much it's going to cost them. And porn is one of those things. It can destroy a relationship, like you said. It can take away from the intimacy in the relationship. So if you have someone that may be addicted to that, don't mean the whole person is bad. There's an old saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Because they may be having a lot of other good things going. So you may have to take care of that, get them into some counseling, get them to find out the root of their cause, of why they're doing this, and that's very important. Go to the core of it and find out how and why they got addicted to that situation.
Okay, I'd just like to add that was random. Thank you.
Great question. Great answer.
So we have a question from Facebook. Question is, if they cheat, should you leave and divorce?
If they cheat, should you leave and divorce?
Well, that's optional. When I say optional, that's the only reason God gave for divorce is
It's
adultery.
adultery.
But that don't mean you have to take it. There's been so many marriages I have helped heal in that situation. Because we got to understand, a lot of times we got to understand that this thing is bigger than ourselves.
It is.
A lot of times when
Really?
you got children involved, and you're talking about breaking up a marriage and destroying a family, those children are going to feel that effect of that situation. I deal with people in their 40s and their 50s that still dealing with divorce of their parents, and it still hurt them just like it was yesterday. So just because people have infidelity, they might go out. There is a place called forgiveness. And if you're
Yes.
willing to forgive that situation, when I say forgive it, mean totally forgive it and move on
Forward.
and not charge that person every day for it, and they ain't got to live in it, then you got a chance of reconciling that marriage. So, extramarital affair is not a reason to divorce if you have the ability to forgive.
Amen. Great question. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Are you guys enjoying Pastor Max Melvin and First Lady Sheila? They are definitely giving some great tools and information. I almost kind of want to call you the relationship expert, but I know your specialty is healing and saving marriages. So we ended the break on talking about if your spouse cheats, would you be able to forgive them? So I know one of you guys in the audience had a follow-up question to that.
So the follow-up question was, if your wife cheated on you, would you be able to forgive her, and how long would it take you to get there?
Okay, I had a case like this as a counselor. They came in and the husband had cheated. They had 4 kids, and I asked the wife the same question. How long do you think you should take to forgive your husband for what he did? And she said, crying crocodile tears. She said maybe a year or 2. And I asked her a question because I had those kids in mind, those 4 kids in mind, because when you take a father out the family, you take the foundation out the family.
Absolutely.
And that family is going to suffer. There's no way around it. So I asked her, how long did you think it should take to forgive? She said 1 or 2 years. And I asked her a question that changed her life, and they're still together. And this couple has sent me over 10 clients since I helped heal their marriage. I asked her, how long do you want God to take to forgive you after you sin against him? And when I asked her that question, the tears stopped flowing, she stopped crying, and she said, immediately.
Yes.
And
Yes.
God says in Ephesians 4:32, as I have forgiven you, forgive one another.
Amen.
And that changed their marriage and healed their marriage and gave her the ability to forgive her husband.
That's
And that marriage is still together today.
powerful. Yeah. All right, you guys, don't be shy. Next question.
Yeah, that's nice, but what if they keep doing it? What if they keep doing it? It keeps happening. What if they keep
doing
What did that keep happening?
Yeah.
What if they keep cheating continuously?
Keep cheating. Well, I mean, that's a decision you have to make. Like I said, God give you an out. But a lot of times if somebody got something going on like that, something has taken place in that person's life. And if you love that person and care for that person, that's what love truly is. It's being responsible for somebody. And if somebody's doing something like that, that means some trauma that happened in their life, something that went on in their life, and they may need some extra help to get over that situation. So if they continue to do that, it's no different than anything else about the lying, about the cheating, and whatever it might be. That's why we do those vows, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health. So, because a person ain't coming all the way complete. If you marry somebody, let me tell you right now, you marrying an incomplete person. I don't care how they come packaged, that package is not complete. The only way that's going to be complete, you're going to have to work those things out in the marriage and in life. God never give us anything that's finished.
Amen.
You always give us something that's a project, and that's marriage.
Amen.
So we've been a project for 33 years.
Look at that.
Working out everything that comes forward. And we're here to work it out with one another.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
And I know I
Next
was
question.
Hey, serious question.
Sure.
Again, I'm the single person in this room.
All right.
And the thing about it is, you guys are smiling and holding
Aren't they though? They glowing.
I love it.
They
And
glowing.
I hear you, and I am tuned in. But what I want to know, this is my question.
Sure.
Why? Why should someone want to get married when Johnny is talking about his wife continuously cheating? Then you talking about forgiving
Wow.
the infidelity of the husband, right? Cheating is a choice.
Yeah.
The husband went out and cheated.
Yeah.
The wife wants to leave.
Yeah.
And you, as the pastor, you're telling me, do I want to break up my house? But I didn't go out and cheat.
No, I said you have an option.
Yeah. So
I said you have the
tell me
option. I didn't
why.
say you have to stay. I said you have the option to stay.
But my question was, with me in the audience hearing, I see the bliss in you guys. But you guys are an anomaly. It's a special thing.
It's an
That's a
exception in some
dedication. You made a
cases.
commitment. You
Absolutely.
said divorce is not an option, right?
Not an
But
option.
you know, but why should a person like me, right? Because I'm scared to death. I have gotten to a certain point in my life, right? And I can go outside and buy a helicopter if that's what I wanted,
Absolutely.
right? But I'm scared to be vulnerable with someone else. Because I've done it a bunch of times. Not a bunch, 3 times when I feel like I took a loss. But I feel like it's a lesson. But why should I do it again when I know the possibility of what I've been through could repeat itself? Is my question. My final question.
Yeah, that's a good question. And understand, we always have the option to remain single. Single. You don't have to get married. You don't. To be happy. You can be a single, happy person. So you don't have to get married. But if you make that choice, you're saying, why should I do it? Well, I wrote a chapter in this book, We're Better Together. And 2 is better than 1.
Absolutely.
You can accomplish a lot more together than you can individually in this earth. And Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 7 through 12 tells us about that. That when one is in the bed together, we can warm each other up. If we get in a fight against you, the 2 is going to defeat you. So 2 is better than 1, the Bible is trying to tell us. And God brought us here. And let me share this with you. Marriage is not just about what I just said. It's about the next generation. It's about the next generation, raising up another generation so that generation can be good. And when you got the husband and the wife together, that's a powerful thing.
That's true.
And kids need both. They need to draw from both, not just one. So that's why marriage is so powerful.
That's true.
And God wants marriage in the earth.
That's true. Great question. Great question. How many questions do we have? How much time do we have? Okay. So, Pastor, show everybody your book. Tell everybody where they can get your book, Marriage in Between the Sheets. I'll let you do the honors of telling everyone where they can get the book.
Yes, you can get Marriage in Between the Sheets on Amazon.com. You can go there and get it. Also, you can email me at mm.melvin and at verizon.net, and I get it to you as well. So
There you go.
Yeah.
And then also, for any of you guys in the audience that have follow-on questions, you can talk to Pastor Melvin afterwards. And then with regards to some of our viewers, how would they get in touch with you to do counseling with you?
Yes, 301-938-1975 is my telephone number. They can call me. We can set up a counseling session.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe in saving marriages. And also, you can email me at mm.melvin@verizon.net.
Okay. And what are your social media handles?
Social media,
Facebook and Instagram.
Facebook, Max Melvin, Instagram, Max Melvin.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Easy. So you guys be sure to go to Amazon and purchase Pastor Max Melvin's book, Marriage in Between the Sheets. It will definitely save you guys' lives. Please make sure that you guys get the information and the tools that you need to become better partners in your relationships, in your marriages. And I also want to thank you guys for tuning in with us tonight. I hope this was a special segment that you guys were able to leave better than how you came. And I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you and have a great night. Do you or anyone you know have a business or a brand you want to promote? Would you like to be a guest or be a part of our studio audience? If so, contact us at theshellyroyshow@gmail.com or contact us on Instagram at The Chelly Roy Show. Can't wait to hear from you guys.